Hello interweb, this is Danage. Time for something new, as I invite you to join me on a community-based creative project. In this series I intend to take you through my thoughts and build a world for you to enjoy. I'm hoping it will help bring some otherwise dull text and diagrams to life. In our inaugural episode, I'm going to tell you what it is and why it's here. The UNITI project is a fictional setting, part science fiction, part space opera. Yes, those two things are different. The goal of the project is to inspire writers, gamers, artists, and fan filmmakers. Fan fiction has been popular for years, with people writing about characters they grew up with in books, films, or TV. With advances in modern technology, it's become easier for people to produce better quality film on more and more of a shoestring budget. And recent years have seen fan films expand from some bloke in a shed to high-quality crowd-funded studio productions, sometimes enjoying whole series worth of content. The thing is, Lucasfilm was for a long time famous for its lawyers and those wonderful cease and desist letters. CBS recently went a similar way, though that may have something to do with a crowdfunding project that strayed into rather more commercial aspirations using the back of the Star Trek name. The idea of the UNITI project is to provide a new universe, but one which can be shared by contributors and artists, and that they can help build and shape. It will provide source material for creators and hopefully get a creative community behind it. Maybe there will be a fan series of this one day. That may be up to you. So let me tell you a bit about why I'm doing this. I guess there are three main pillars on which I'm making my case. 1. Fans like knowing the setting, and creators like the familiar. I once started writing an alternate universe Star Trek series. I had 60 episodes set across 5 seasons, and a friend asked me about the stories, and when told it was an alternate timeline, yeah, I got there before you, Abrams, but you actually made something of it, asked why I labelled it Star Trek at all. Why not just do a standalone science fiction universe? Well, I guess as a fan I loved things which were set in worlds we knew. We used to play role-playing games, and the ones where we knew the rich tapestry behind the politics and the universe made it, I guess, comforting as players, and that crept through into creativity as well. So it's much easier to draw a Romulan ship than a random bird-oriented alien race of unknown origin. People like creating in pre-established worlds, I guess because writers need less exposition, and artists already have some rules in place when creating the new art. One of the major inspirations for taking a world that I had created and putting it into an open source version was the fact that I was beginning to watch a lot of fan-created Star Trek, just as CBS dropped the axe, and a lot of shows I was starting to enjoy made announcements that they would be stopping work. There's also a lot of demonstrative original sci-fi out there, but a lot of it is in a world with no backstory, and whilst it shows some people out there have incredible skills, it makes rooting for characters harder, but I'll overlap into this with my next point. 2. Solo ventures may fail where community ventures may thrive. I mentioned earlier that modern apps and software are making it easier for people to create stuff from their bedrooms. This is a bit of a cultural revolution, and it's really encouraging to see talent in all corners of the globe actually showing off their skills. There is, however, a downside to that. What I'm seeing is a lot of people trying to launch solo projects, not getting very far, and then asking the world, is it because I'm not good enough? And why can't I get more interest in my thing? I responded to one of my very talented friends who asked this same question, and I said, you think that it reflects your skills, but it actually reflects the saturation of social media by all of the creatives drowning every individual out. Everyone is trying to launch their own solo project, instead of clubbing together to build a community of talent, which then covers different aspects of production. I think some people think of themselves as the product, and try to sell their own ideas because of that. Hey, this is my project, this is about me. I imagine those that form groups tend to do better and suffer a bit less stress. The same goes for the worlds that they build. I mentioned before a lot of single-shot sci-fi original shorts out there, and some of those are absolutely amazing. But imagine how amazing they would be if they were all part of a collective narrative in a common universe that they all share, and the stories may interlink or just be in the same world that you begin to understand as you see bits of it. I'm not making this project or putting my face on the podcast or anything like that, because I don't want you to love me, which you naturally do anyway, of course. but because I want you to love the world and the people that you and I put into it. 3. The world needs some hope, but hope that it can believe in. First half of the 20th century, pretty tough on people. There were 2 pretty big wars, which touched just about every corner of the globe. There was a feeling coming out of all of that, maybe we would do better if we all got together, built something better for ourselves and future generations. I think we got optimistic. Then some of us got a bit lazy. Not everyone at the table was playing nice. And now we're going in a different and darker direction. We've moved from globalization to populism and being interested in looking after ourselves a bit more. I think where civilization is going, we may end up having another fairly significant turn of events in our futures that reshape the world. That is pretty scary, but we can hope that out of that, we might get nudged back into working together properly. Dystopian futures where we're in constant battle or ruled by oppressive governance are pretty depressing. The idea that we'll all live in shiny, comfortable futures, the Orville has managed to do that quite nicely, but I think everyone else is still a little bit skeptical. But the thing is that audiences have become more complicated. In the olden days, you had heroes wearing white hats and bad guys wearing black hats. Now in modern film, everybody can see the point Thanos is making, and terrifyingly, there's a lot of us that kind of agree with him. Anyway, I'm hoping I don't destroy half of the universe, but the setting that I bring you treads a generally positive line that accepts that we have more suffering ahead, but eventually we will get out of it and we will do better. We won't go on to lead the Interstellar Alliance or basically run the Federation, but we will get on with our neighbours and we'll see what's out there. I hope you join me on the ride. Next episode, I will give you a high-level overview of the UNITI setting. Thanks for listening. Please don't mash the like and subscribe buttons, it will damage your keyboard. Instead, calmly click them and then leave a comment about what you'd like to see from a science fiction setting. Thanks, and see you next time.